Nice. Hey guys, welcome to Final Fantasy's TCGU chapter. TCG University's Final Fantasy chapter. We'll get this right one of these days. I am your lovely host, Noah, here joined by
Byron.
And
what's up, homies? Zeth's back again.
Always. Before we get started, obviously, we're going to go through and do a little cool housekeeping. So we would just like to thank you guys who are supporting us currently. And if you want, you can support us by going on or clicking on the link for Facebook, subbing at YouTube, enrolling at Patreon. Enrolling, that's very important. And then watching us on Twitch as well and subscribing on Twitch. I don't know how Twitch works that much, oddly enough. Dates me. We're also available on iTunes, SoundCloud, Spotify. And if you want, you can go rate us 5 stars. And if you have any other podcasting, what's the word? Somebody help me out here. Web services, that's the word I need. Services, go ahead and leave a comment or shoot us a message, and we'll make sure we can add ourselves onto that for you. This month, we have a $30 Patreon exclusive merch, which is our life counter. I'll zoom in manually. They can zoom in later. It says, TCG on it. You got the little life counter down here, and then how do you... Oh, it's just the backside.
The little spin.
Spin the backside, and it goes down for you.
They're super cool.
Actually, it is. Yeah, goes up to what, 40?
Sign me up, Tam.
Goes up to 40. We also have Twitch giveaways, so make sure you guys watch us on Twitch. We're super cool. Me more than Byron. After that, we're gonna go ahead and give a few shout-outs to our Patreon Junior and higher sponsor. There's a door. And higher sponsors. Let's get this out of the way. So we got Addy, Andrew Dang, Anthony Albano, Bryce Rathsack, Chris Miner, Clay Cardwell, Jacob Arshin, Masur, Jay Rogers, Jarrett Hubbard, Jesse Cervini. Thank you. Jesse Morrison, Jesse Nick. There are a lot of Jessies recently. John Stone, Justin Farce, Justin Hobbs, Kat Maria, Kevin Broberg, Kieran Vision, Lucinda Letica, and Okami Law. There's more. Orlando Valdez Santos, Paul Casagrande, Peyton Kiker, Ransom MacArthur, Samantha Stevens, the baddest bitch around, Sean O'Brien, Theodore Ruiz, and Tyler Zan Pease. Also, don't forget to check out our sponsors. We have Cards Custom Build, Ink Gaming, and Dex Protection. Now that we got all that cool stuff out of the way, let's get in here, guys. Right. How's everybody been recently? It's been a while. We've finally got the time to actually get together.
Yep.
So we got a lot to talk about here.
Absolutely.
Especially with the new set coming up.
Oh, Opus 12. Oh, dude.
We're gonna crack this one open. You all ready?
Yeah. Yes.
I hope the knuckle cracks get in there. Let's start off. Amaterasu, Threat or Menace.
All right.
Zeth, kick us off.
So Amaterasu is a new summon that's coming out in Opus 12. It simply says, choose an auto ability. Cancel it. If this auto ability was from a forward, deal it 8,000 points of damage. For those of you that play Magic the Gathering or any other resource-based TCG, this simply says, hey, you're doing a thing. Stop it. And if it's coming from a dude, more than likely kill it.
Yeah. So this card is, what is it? A hero?
Yeah.
So it's one down from being
legend.
Hard as hell to get, quote unquote. Actually, what are the pull rates in boxes, by the way, for that? I never...
So like getting a hero, it's like 1 in like every 70 or something like that.
Okay.
It's not insane enough that you're not gonna pull it over a legend, but it's still hard to get like that particular hero.
Yeah, because there's so many extras.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, because usually there's anywhere between like 8 to 12 heroes in a set, and that's like roughly 2 or 3 for like each element.
There. Yeah.
And like when I was trying to go for Ifrits and Opus 10, like I got like 2 out of a box.
I think Ifrits. Yep. Okay. Yeah.
The 3-drop one that 8K something, and then 2K is your board.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got like 2 of those out of 36 packs.
Jesus Christ. Yeah. All right. So we got a general grasp on the pull rate for it. So the card shouldn't be super easy for everyone to get, obviously. Mm-hmm. But what is it that makes the card broken? What makes it a threat and or menace? That would basically be the what you stated. Mm. The fact that she gets to say, "Don't do that thing," and then kill what you just played. How you just wasted your resources. Mm.
Yeah, there's just like so many cards right now in the meta that just have a lot of auto abilities, and they're really good auto abilities. So having a card that actually stops that and then also gains you a little bit more advantage too if they have a board on you, that's so good.
Like, I hate to beat the dead horse, but Veritas, for instance.
Yes.
This card actually just shuts Veritas down, except for his on leave, right? His on leave will still go off, but like at that point it's just a watered down Veritas.
Unless he doesn't hit the break zone. In that case, if he doesn't hit break,
oh yeah, it doesn't go off. Yeah. So you could be a meme and play water fire and be like, oh look at this unit. No.
Wait, isn't that considered an auto ability?
Yuna? That
no,
is
no. Veritas leaving.
It is a win whenever we're at. So yes, it is. So you could cancel.
So
you could
cancel
double
either
Amaterasu.
Yeah.
And you paid the same amount as their Veritas.
Yeah.
But you're down 2 summons.
Yeah.
But I mean, still, like if they have,
but
like,
your
a
board is completely safe then at that point. I think you can deal with it leaving technically.
Mm.
I think if you water it down by that, it's fine because it just says on leave break a character, not a forward.
Right.
So you get the option of what you want to get rid of.
Mm-hmm.
I think what makes Amaterasu really like scary and menacing and threatening, I'm going to abuse these words while I already have it, is the fact that she's a 3 cost.
Mm-hmm.
No.
She's a 3 cost summon that hits something for 8. So she does what like good Ifrits do, and then also shuts down skills.
Like the best part about it too, that it's gonna stop a lot of your searchers, of your opponent's searchers. So like they're not gonna be able to search their key pieces. Yeah, stop Tyro specifically.
Can't play Rufuses.
Yeah, so like it's gonna stop a lot of your search ability for your deck, which is really detrimental for some decks. So if you can't search out your items, really you kind of have to wait and draw for it.
Yeah, which makes it a lot rougher because like a lot of decks that I know currently are based around being able to search out their pieces. Like people that play Marsh Reits usually only play Reits as their only win card. What card? Like Clavat? No, not Clavat.
So you
Lilty.
either play Lilty that finds her. If you're doing the Ice Fire variant of Marsh Reach, you're playing Uke to find her. If you're doing the Water Fire variant of Marsh Reach, your Lilty's your other one that finds it, or Clavat finds Marsh to find Reach.
Yep.
Let's see here. What are some? Earth Fire still Lilty.
Yeah.
What are some of the other ones that people have been filling around with? Because Marsh Reach has just been fitting into a lot of decks.
Yeah, it has. I think the main issue is that it doesn't also just hit forwards. Like you can knock off that ladder thing and it literally it stops backups as well. So it hits your backup searchers, it hits your forward searchers, and a lot of forwards recently have really good on entry effects, like Squall for instance. So it can probably target one of Squall's abilities, not the whole thing, and stop. But even then, it still kills the card, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah. I was gonna say something.
You got this. I believe in you.
I think that just making your opponent like go behind one turn of not having a card that they need.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
it just puts them back.
Stun.
Yeah.
The one turn being a turn behind your opponent in this game, if you don't play your cards right, it really just messes
Blowouts
up.
suck in this game.
Yeah, your opponent will just steamroll the entire game from there. Yeah. So then I guess the biggest question is, if she's so good, how do we get around her, or how do we deal with her?
Oh no, you first, bud.
I mean, you still have some cards that are gonna stop summon, so like Leo for Earth, and trying to think of other ones. Do you remember any other ones?
So Lael does it. There's the Water Summoner that stops 3-drop or less summons. There's also the Ice Summoner that just for 1 CP says, "Hey, no summon." There's Edward. Silent Verse from Edward stops it. Celeste also stops summons. If you're doing cadets, 7 does it also. I mean, Y'shtola still stops it.
Yeah.
I mean, as it would.
Yeah.
Right. So it's not that there's like direct outs that won't stop Amaterasu, but when you see fire, a lot of what people are gonna have to consider now is like, are you running Amaterasu in your build? Yes or not? Which, speaking of, as a fire player or another, what Ifrit are you removing, if any, to put Amaterasu in?
See, and I thought about that. And honestly, I don't know if I would remove any Ifrits to put in Amaterasu, but I would remove maybe 1 or 2 forwards because I at least want to play it at a 2 of. So I guess because right now I'm thinking about maybe taking out Zell.
I believe it.
The 4-drop Zell. I don't know if there's another one.
There's a few others.
There's like a 3-drop one that says that when I attack, choose a 2-drop or less, it can't block.
Yeah. Anyways, but yeah, so I'd definitely considering removing Zell because I think I play it at a 1 of right now. So that would probably be coming out for that card, and then maybe dropping my Archangel to 1. So those are kind of my thoughts. But the thing is too, like the thing that you run in with fire is if you're playing a whole bunch of summons, you also have less forwards to attack with, so like they become more valuable. So like early on, you don't really want to play as many forwards unless they're your searchers like Terra, are just gonna recycle one from your break. So it can kind of get sparse towards the end, and that's kind of like what I find my issue sometimes too, where I'm just like pitching a lot of my forwards out of my hand to have these summons or play backups mostly. So I don't know. That's kind of like I'm still going back and forth between it. I maybe one Ifrit of some kind. I don't know which one yet.
Okay.
And then I'd probably take out Zell for it.
Okay.
So at least a 2-0 for sure.
Fair. So my two concerns from Amaterasu is the Marsh Reeds mirror match. Can you imagine if both of them are running Amaterasu?
Oh, Jesus
and
Christ.
whoever pops Marsh Reeds first and they activate their 3 backups and then say pass, and the other opponent tries to Marsh Reeds, they play Marsh, you Amaterasu it.
Oh.
You basically win.
Yeah.
Like, that's such a blowout.
Or
like,
unless you're able to stop them from even getting theirs. I mean, yeah, it does just come down to whoever can get the first Marsh Reeds out and keep it there.
Yeah. Because when you stun their Marsh by playing Amaterasu, right? And then you get that second activation off with Reeds, and then you play like Terra to get back the Amaterasu, it's sealed.
Yeah.
Like, there's not really a lot you can get after with that. Although, one of the things I've been exploring since Amaterasu is starting to become a talked about thing, I've actually started going back to action abilities. The reason being is that they're not ETBs or anything like that, but there is like Zayzat that can do damage to guys while he's on board, whether active or dull.
Yep.
And then there's also the Gilgamesh that does that also. And just kind of relying more on like action abilities from my cards as opposed to like enter the battlefield stuff. Because one of the things I think might start happening is we might start peeling back a little bit from ETBs. It's either that or it's going to be one of those that, I'm just going to play it, and if you have it, cool.
Yeah.
It's starting to step into like counterspell territory. It's like, if you have it, cool. If you don't, then all right, I get away with it.
Yeah, and if you're, I want to throw this out there just because I think this matters a bit, is if you're able to, like, you could probably never run that card in your deck.
Yeah.
But I feel like if you show your opponent you're playing some semblance of fire and you just leave
It scares
that
them.
one backup up, they're going to start overthinking and deciding on whether or not it's right to play something. And, like, you can really catch somebody off guard if you don't play it on the first dude they play that they're, like, they want to get out or they're using the bait, and you hit it on the second one that matters.
Yep.
I think it might also slow down the game a little bit too, just because if you see that your opponent's playing fire, you're probably going to be hesitant on playing your forwards out, because then that way they don't get removed with Amaterasu.
Right.
Yeah. You're already hesitant just a bit when it comes to playing against fire in general too, because your forwards can get spot removed so easily.
Or the other concern that I have is that if we start seeing Amaterasu, cool, I'm just going to start playing 2-drop haste dudes now. And then all just 2-drop backups that don't have whenever at in their text. And I'm just going to beat the snot out of you before Amaterasu matters. But in like a mono fire setting, all right, cool. I'm just going to build up with my back row and then either double a Frida to 6k your board.
Yeah.
And then just not worry about it.
Yep. So then, what do you
either way
guys
you win.
think about Amaterasu becoming a staple? Just if you can play the card, you play it.
Yes.
Do you think the card merits being played out of 1 or 2 of?
Definitely. I think if you're going to have any type of fire in your deck, I think you play it. It's such a good card, and the value for it is so great compared to most cards, because it gives you a chance to stop 2 different things.
I would say play it because like we're in that stable territory with the asterisk of having a search for it. So whether it's like Rydia or even with, because you can still cast it off of Vermilion the Sea and then having your break zone for when you really need it.
Yep.
Off of like your Black Mage or something like that, or just any of your other cards that just let you search for cards like Thornton and stuff like that. I would say playing it as a 2, just like you mentioned, as long as you have like access to fire, as long as you have like a way to get it when you really, really need it. Because it's going to suck if it's like the last 10, 15 cards in your deck. Your opponent's already gotten like 3 autos off on you.
Yeah.
It's one of those that like I got to stun lock you like in the like that key turn, or there's no reason to run it.
Here's another fun question. Do you think because people are going to know about this card.
Oh, absolutely.
They're going to want to prepare for it. Do you think decks are going to start running cards like Lail a lot more often, and that just like ends up taking up the space that they need? So like in turn, people are going to prepare for this one card, and this one card is going to become like all they focus on, and their deck's going to have way too many options to deal with it to almost make the card seem null and void for a bit. So like any other deck that doesn't really care about that card because the person who built it doesn't care enough or whatever, end up sneaking through because every other competitive based deck is too focused on dealing with Amaterasu instead of other threats that matter. Like, do you think it's such a threat that people are going to focus on that more than anything else they need to? That's the base question.
What do you think, bud?
I think there's potential to that, but I think even still, you shouldn't be adding so much hate against that card that it's going to hinder what your deck's trying to do.
Well, you never want to do that, obviously.
Yeah. So I think including a couple cards that are going to help you in that matchup as well, like it's going to be useful. Because for Leo, like I think if you're playing Earth, I think you're already playing that as a 1 of at least.
I could see it.
Yeah, like if you're playing something, Earth and something else, or just Earth, I think you play that at 1 or 2 of.
Okay.
At least personally, that's how I feel.
I say the same with Leo. I think Leo, it's a 2-drop backup that usually people are playing summons, so it at least stops something. But like Earth, I would say has it easy.
Yeah.
Maybe Wind with Y'shtola, but in terms of like water, ice, even fire against that, I don't see too many. I mean, you named a few, but I don't see too many other options that are like so prevalent that people are going to be like, I could do with like one of this in my deck opposed to this other card that probably would do,
because water does have a few outs. Like if they target if you target like your guy that has an auto and they try to Amaterasu it, you can snap it back to your hand with like a return to hand ability.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, granted, they cancel it, but at least you don't lose the card.
Yep.
And with ice, like you have Celeste and Edward that cancel summons. The fire mirror match, I think it just comes down to just being aware it's there and just resource management.
That's fair.
Well, even with ice, like, I haven't really seen more recent ice decks that include Edward. So I definitely think that card will probably come out a little bit more because it's a good card.
Oh, yeah.
It discards a card and then you're able to stop something.
And then the other thing with that, too, is that Harley makes him a 1-drop. So, like, the two just go hand in hand together.
Yeah.
But I think what's going to happen is that people are going to kind of adjust the cards a little bit. Like, instead of Veritas, they'll start playing Seth because Seth's 10. He'll survive a Amaterasu. The only problem is that he won't survive a Amaterasu after Terra.
Yeah.
So, like, if Terra's already on board, then Amaterasu's dead. I mean, not Amaterasu, but Sephiroth's dead. But it's one of those things that there'll be slight adjustments anywhere between, like, 2 to 3 cards. So, overall, like, it's going to be very strong. But I don't think it's going to, like, completely paralyze the meta. Like, it will at first because everyone's going to have that usual, oh, it's a new card, what do we do?
Yeah.
And then there's going to be the usual, like, oh, well, it's insane. But then people are going to start realizing, okay, cool, here's what I need to change.
I do think that there are some cards that are going to fall out of favor, for sure.
Yeah.
I think, like you just mentioned, Veritas is probably maybe not going to be as prevalent. I think Sephiroth might, too, just because the discard's an auto, right?
Yeah, when Seth comes in.
Yeah, and it's 7K.
Oh,
yeah.
no.
It actually-
It's going to feel so bad.
You're pitching
You
that
paid
and play
7
Amaterasu
CP, and your opponent just goes, I'm going to ditch a card and tap it back up.
and destroy it.
Cool.
Yeah, so,
that
like-
actually feels gross.
Like, the only way you get around that is you have to be able to stop Amaterasu then and there, which in that case says your opponent gets rid of 3 cards, and hopefully you wasted a backup as your resource.
Yeah, and then that comes back to like the thing I was saying. I think it's gonna make the meta a little bit slower because you're gonna want to be prepared, and if you're playing against that deck, you're gonna want to be prepared to have something to be able to stop Amaterasu if you're gonna play all these big valued cards.
Absolutely. So what we got next, dog?
So I'm glad we went through all that because the biggest concern on me was like Amaterasu just being a red herring for anybody to like sneak in with other decks because people would be too focused on it. But we do want to get into a few of the other releases as well. Yep.
Yeah, there's some ones I'm excited for.
I know you got them on yours and I got a few on mine.
Sure
I'll have to look at your guys's.
Do you want to start with Lock and just go up? Do you want to start with
we did
Noctis
lock
and go
last
down?
Yeah, we did lock last week.
Oh, did we do lock? Oh, yeah, we
the
did.
last session we had, we talked
I'm just
about
a dummy.
Noctis.
All right, so Noctis is our next one, boys.
Yep.
Take it away, Zeph.
So Noctis is a Earth Lightning who's representing the dual element mechanic that they're introducing in Opus 12. So you have to pay Lightning and Earth CP in order to play him. So when he comes down, he says, pick a category 15 forward, pop it back up to your hand from your break zone, right? His other ability is that when he party attacks with another forward, he gives all your other forwards haste. So he's essentially an Ilwa in
and
15.
2K power.
Oh, and it gives him 2K?
2K.
He's
and
actually an
He's,
Ilwa.
he's Ilwa for category 15, dude. The deck,
That's really good.
the deck I'm actually thinking about for him is that you play Rain along with Noctis and Ilwa. And you just run a deck of 9 Ilwas.
Oh, basically, yeah.
Like, I think that would actually be
Bro,
insane.
Noctis with Cloud.
Which Cloud?
Wait, can you bring it out? Yeah, with the two birthing pod Cloud. Can you bring him out?
Yeah, he could bring him in because he kills himself and then he grabs Noctis. Okay.
Yep.
Because it lets you
And
grab
then when
any-
he enters the field, he's gonna. Yeah, once he enters the field, right?
Yeah, he picks up a category 15, yep.
So Cloud's at 7, but like he still grabs something else, like
Yeah.
Regis. I'm just kidding. Picks up his father. Oh, did you kill my Noctis? Oh, Regis, bring my Noctis back in.
But
Yeah.
what I think would be really cool is like we talked about Beatrix, how she makes like your knights 2 cost less.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're running Beastmaster to guarantee you grab Beatrix, I could see a board state where you make Rain cost 1 and then you play Ilwa and then you leadership Shoal in the same turn. So you 4K your opponent's board and your board gets 4K.
Yeah, that'd
That's
be really
an
good.
8K power swing. That is absolute bananas. And then Beatrix, because you played a knight, you get another 2K on top of that.
Mm-hmm.
So your board's 6K stronger and their board's 4K weaker. They are not blocking you.
I mean, if they do, they're losing everything. Which, so like optimally,
Bananas.
yeah, optimally you would want to do that, for that end game turn.
Oh yeah.
Because at that point, your opponent is forced to get rid of their board to be able to live, and then you've just your board stays. You've net the advantage. They have to be able to respond to the board you have
And
at that
this
point.
also is not assuming that you didn't pick up Aranea with it. They haven't picked up Nyx with it. They haven't picked up Glocka makes him a 2-drop. You know how bananas that is? Glocka
it's
makes him a
pretty good.
2-drop.
Play him for 2 backups. I'm down.
Yeah. Like that's actually insane.
Have we? I'm just curious. I don't know if there's been a ruling on it yet or not. But the multicolors only count as one or the other color, correct?
They're both.
So if I pitch a multicolor,
You choose
For
either
Noctis.
Earth or you play, or because basically, like if you pitch like Earth CP for him,
Yeah.
you still need to pay the Lightning CP.
yeah,
for
okay,
him.
that's what I wanted to make sure because I was like, if they didn't allow that, that'd be a little dumb.
Yep. And so, like the other thing too is that if you discard Noctis for CP, you can either choose Earth or Lightning. You can't choose both.
Yeah, you need one or the other.
So,
Okay,
no.
that's what I wanted to double check.
I see a very fast like sucker punch deck coming out. For
Oh,
him,
for
but
sure.
Even for like L3, right? 15 L3 is actually like really kind of nuts.
Actually, would be not opposed to playing L3 with this card right now, and it's a rare.
Yeah. So what do you guys think about it?
I really love the art.
Oh yeah.
I think
Oh, the art's
fantastic.
gorgeous.
If you look at where Prince is located, like a lot of people are gonna like where it's located. It's just right there.
Yeah, dude.
Card
Tells
from
us
Jules.
straight and simple what he
It's
is.
mint. And you gotta like how he's in like that cover girl pose. He's all like this.
Is
And
he-
I mean,
And
is he
he's
sitting
like,
in
yeah,
a-
I'm good.
Is he in a chair or something of some type? A throne?
think he might be.
Because it looks like a throne right behind him. I'm
Yeah,
not
that's
sure.
his father's throne.
That's his-
Okay,
He's
yeah,
sitting
cool.
in his father's throne.
Wait, who's his father?
Wait, what's
Regis.
Yeah,
Okay.
Regis.
Regis is his
I don't know
father.
anything about like backstories.
Bro, Regis killed him.
What?
What?
What'd you say?
Never gonna know now. Better go watch the podcast. Damn it.
You got one view for me.
All right, so Noah, what do you think?
Dude, so I think this card's really good actually. It's easy to search out because you can play
Regis finds him.
I mean Regis finds him. What's his name? I don't pay attention to 15 enough anymore. Ignis.
Ignis, yeah.
Ignis finds
Noctis.
him. I mean, there's so many Noctises already.
Yep, 2-drop Noctis.
You can
3-drop
play this
Noctis,
one, and then you
3-drop
can play Gladius for cheaper as well because of this guy,
Mm-hmm.
and he just buffs your It's just value.
Mm-hmm.
Like in 15, this card's actually just pure value. In general, this card's just pure value because of which we're getting into. The party attack mechanic is I like it.
Oh yeah.
I love that.
I like that it's actually getting explored.
Yeah, for sure. Why can't we get the back attack?
Is there another thing here that matters, like party
Another one would have been, I think we already talked about it, but Bart's
And Yuna.
and-
Yuna also has it too, where
Yuna,
you party
yeah.
attack and you make their forward lose 4K for every party attacking member.
We talk about Thanocrad yet?
Thancred?
Thancred?
Yeah, we talked to. We actually. I don't think we did.
Lit. We should hit that guy up.
Yeah.
Thancred.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Thancred is actually buzzing around a lot.
I love this
Yep.
card only because it's lightning water, which are two symbols I barely think about putting together
So yeah,
in my
he's
head.
a 7-drop guy that says, "Hey, for every water, basically water forward or backup, including himself, when he enters play, bring it onto the field." So as long as you have one other water forward and then 2 water backups when you play him, Thancred, Layla, Viking.
Yep.
You build 3 forwards and you draw a card. Then he still has more text after that, right?
Yeah.
So when
but
he-
wait, there's more.
When he attacks, you choose an active forward your opponent controls. If their cost is equal to or less than the number of lightning forwards and backups that you have, break it. So he's Ramza and Lena stapled together.
Yeah, as a 7 cost. That also gets to. I mean, it's also a Scion.
So hot take, I don't think he's that good.
So I like the card if you.
The hottest.
He's over there shocked. I think the card's cool. I don't think it's super good, but I'm just really excited about the card
he's cool.
because
No, 110%,
because it also
dude.
it gives Scions something else that they can mess around with, because Scions already plays a lot of lightning based characters.
But what water cards do they have?
That's
None
the
of
biggest
them.
issue is like there's no water card. So at that point you would have to
it'd
be
just
able to
be
incorporate.
awkward.
Yeah, you would have to figure out a perfect way to incorporate this into like a main Scion list, or you literally just play some generic lightning water with this card added to it, which I don't know too much on lightning water like functioning super well, but
I think it'd be okay.
I
Well-
mean you can get. I think this card would be what makes it work more.
But the thing is too, like with your goal is to be able to bring something out that is kind of like a 3 CP
Yeah, like
possibly.
Layla.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, if your opponent knows that you possibly have a chance of playing that, like,
They're gonna stop it.
yeah, they're
Well,
gonna
it's
be
a big
stopping it.
tell by the fact that you're playing lightning water. That's almost an untouched.
But yeah,
Element
remember
combination.
that Ceph argument that we had with Amaterasu? Imagine paying 7 CP and then
Yeah.
getting a Amaterasu.
Yep.
Thancred's just asking to get hit.
Maybe that's the purpose for some people. Like maybe you just pay, like you could say you have no other option, or you just get an 8K dude on board that you can bait Amaterasu out with if you have, because you're playing water, so you should just be able to net the resources in general.
Right. And then there also kind of goes back to what's been referred to in some parts of the community as the Trickster test. Trickster is a 3-drop forward that says, I take no damage from forwards that have haste or first strike. Well, Alisei gives him haste, right? So unless you have 3 lightning forwards and or backups to break the active Trickster, or I just dole the Trickster before you attack, he's not going to deal any damage. So, like, I think he falls into the Scion trap, just kind of, but you're not going to play this guy with Scions.
No, I think making him a Scion of the 7th Dawn is
Although,
for sure.
If you can rip him in to get Lena to grab another 2-drop, or you hit Layla into Viking with him,
Yeah.
you should totally take that game over. Because if you can Illo right after that, oh, it's so good.
I mean, that's something I wouldn't mind testing out. He's
worth testing.
He's a legend though, which I'm not fully okay with, because this card doesn't seem like you want to play it that much.
No.
Like you probably only want to play one a game.
And worst case scenario, like whichever one of those elements that, like, because the Selkie card lets you grab water cards, the lightning, you can grab Thancred if he's your only water card in the deck.
I mean, yeah, that's fair.
So, needs testing?
For sure needs testing.
Okay.
I think the more he's played around with, the more builds that come out, the closer you're going to get to figuring out where he belongs, or if he just can't fit currently.
Right. So, some fresh cards that came out, like, as of today at 10:45, we have, let me see if I can pronounce this right, Ami Datelian. She's from FFCC. She's a crystal bearer. So for 2 ice and a colorless CP,
News, right?
I don't think it's going to be on there.
you may, because they revealed it at the Tokyo Game Show.
That's why.
So that's why we can't really find it on that site.
Gotcha.
So you can pay 3, which would be 2
Go
ice.
to the
and a
boss deck one though. Sorry.
Oh yeah, we still have to talk
We're
about
we're
it
gonna
too,
we're
don't
gonna hit that one after
Yeah.
these.
Yeah.
Do you have the site that that's on?
I will see if I can find it.
Boss deck first in. We'll get to that later, guys. Don't worry.
Do that and send it to me in the chat, and I'll pull it up.
Okay.
All right, so Final Fantasy has come out with boss decks now. Give me 1 second because I need to get this correct, right? I'm gonna read it word for word for a bit. Boss Fight is a multiplayer game format that's being introduced to FFTCG for the first time. First time, guys. Insane. Played with 3 to 4, so 2 people just ain't gonna cut it. A 1 versus 2 or 1 versus 3. 2 or 3 players party up as heroes to discuss strategies and cooperate with each other to challenge the boss who holds a powerful boss deck. Until now, this format was only offered during events, which unfortunately I have never been able to go out to and try.
Thanks, COVID.
Against official staff, but we're pleased to bring you a pre-constructed boss fight deck so you can enjoy these battles with other players without the need of official staff. So, you and 2 other, or 3 other friends at max can go and fight against the other friend, and essentially you have an asymmetrical game of Final Fantasy.
Yeah. It's Final Fantasy's arch enemy because in Magic the Gathering you had a format called arch enemy where one person played as like the bad guy and you had your own deck, and in that deck there's like these things called schemes that at the start of every turn you got to do cool stuff like I get an extra turn or wipe everyone's board, or I had to draw 7 cards and all of you have to sacrifice 3 creatures, and like you got all these really cool effects. And it was really cool format where like all of your friends were able to team up against like that guy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the vibes I'm getting from this.
So I like the concept because it really takes it back home to like Final Fantasy's party roots of like you and the other Warriors of Light fighting against that one menace. I like that a lot. I think it's a really fun like recreational side thing to do. I don't think this should be anything like official tournament wise. Like hosting boss fight tournaments seems a little weird, but why? I just think it's very weird to like, how do you reward that, right? So
I mean, you can get promos like, let's say
I think you could do that. Is it the boss? If the boss wins, they get stuff. If the other guys win, they get stuff.
Oh no, I mean you can make it.
I have no idea how to do that off the top of my head. Why are you doing this to me, Tam? All right,
that'd be weird.
Like think about it, right? So do we do brackets of guys who want to play as bosses and guys who play as the Warriors of Light, right?
Yeah, so you'd have like 2 separate sign-ups.
So you have 2 separate signups. You have to be able to have it somewhat equal, so that way you can have the bosses fight each of the warriors and the warriors fight each of the bosses. You would also, I personally think, you would need more boss decks before that happens, because I feel like if everybody figures out how to beat the one, they just play the same stuff that beats the one.
Mm-hmm.
So like having diversity in the decks would be really good. So then prizes just come down to who was the better boss and who were the better group.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know, it just feels really weird that like you could probably get carried by somebody if you're part of the Warrior Lights group. I don't know why. I feel like somebody would have like that one deck that fronts all of the, not damage, but like the action, while everybody else just kind of has like supporting roles if need be.
Okay, so the deck itself is just the boss deck that's coming in there, or do they have pre-constructed decks that you can play
I think
against
it's
the
just
boss?
the boss deck.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just like this 80 card deck. And the other thing that people are buzzing about this for is that there's a full art Sephiroth in it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The 7-drop one that makes people discard 2 cards. The one that's as of currently like $34.
Yup. People are racing to sell that boy.
Yep, and they've actually went through in some of the sites that I'm on. They've curated a lot of people's like content saying like, "Hey man, so like we've realized that stuff's coming out. Could you not sell your Sephiroth for $50? That'd be great."
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, they're still trying to get their value out of it.
I remember when a different game, but like same situation happened when Dragon Ball had come out with VJX, and like people were selling all of their U3 stuff, but because of that, you could tell that was all going to get banned soon. So people were selling like U3 cards for over like $50 each or something like that at minimum, and then those cards just get banned. I was like, well, good thing I didn't buy into it.
Well,
it's a
right,
money trap that's not cool.
There's
Hey,
other
Tim, I found it. I'm sending it to you now.
there's other cards that are actually going to get reprinted too that are Can you scroll down on that, Tam?
Thank you.
Just keep scrolling. Okay,
So
those are the boss cards.
Chaos, Cloud, Emperor. Diabolus is getting reprinted, isn't it?
Yep.
But the
Quote
thing-
unquote.
Oh, that's
You-
the other thing too. Is
yeah.
that fun thing also to know is that because they're gold bordered, you can't play them in
Yeah.
tournaments.
Because these are the actual boss cards. Like they have better effects than what the actual card is. So
Obviously, those effects won't be up on here, but
those are the
Oh,
effects
are they?
right there. Yeah.
Emperor has the same thing.
No.
Oh no, it's just when he enters the field. Oh yeah, he doesn't require the damage number.
Yeah. Here, you want to read it? You have it right there.
Ah, too late. I'm already reading from here.
All right.
Read it for the.
So the Automated Leon that I found is that it is for 2 ice and a colorless. You remove the top card of your deck from the game.
Is this the new card?
Yes, this is one of the new cards.
But
And it's going to be in a YouTube video, so you probably might have to go like a couple of minutes into it to find it. It looks like they stopped it at timestamp 38 seconds.
This guy?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you remove the top card of your deck from the game, and then if that card's cost is 4 or less, you may cast it without paying its cost this turn. So here's my thing, right?
so you pay 3 for a 4 drop.
Yeah. So here's my thing. Just don't make your deck higher than 4.
Yeah.
And you get, because remember, Nordstalin is still in FFCC. She grabs that.
What is that character?
FFCC. It's
Well,
it's one of the Uke Crystal Bearers.
Okay.
And if you look in the corner, it says Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles: The Crystal Bearers. It's one of the expansions that they had from like the old Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles, if I remember correctly.
It's a 2 drop too, which is actually really nice.
Yeah,
So you can like
so-
turn 1, play that, and then.
Yep. So you have this or Kuchaspel to choose from.
Mm-hmm. I like that card a lot. If your deck is just nothing but 4 costs, you essentially net value. You're paying 3 to play your deck out for 1 less. Is that a value or tempo play though? No, I'm just kidding. We'll get to that later. Don't worry.
So my thing with that, right, is I think it's going to be pretty cool because if you can get Alexander off on that and break a character 4 or greater, I think that's pretty cool. Like worst case scenario, I think it's a cool card. But, you know, there's a lot of setup and you have to know what the top card of your deck is. Dude, just rip into a 4-cost card and just beat your opponent with it, man.
I mean, if 4 is the magic number, you've stated it before. Currently, like,
It
there's
really
no reason
is,
not to
though.
play a deck of primarily 4 drops.
Oh.
I honestly don't like this card.
Okay.
Why?
See with it.
I think you can end up losing value on it.
Is it because of his furry face?
No.
Oh.
So you lose a backup. So you can. All right. So wait. Oh, you can keep
No.
playing it.
Yeah,
Okay.
this stays here.
So like. Okay,
that make it
never
better for you?
Yeah.
That's a little better.
Basically, for 4 CP, I rip the top card off of my deck and I do
Yeah.
a thing.
But see, like that point, like you're saying, like it has to be a deck that you're just playing all 4 costs, honestly,
Mhm.
because then you're gonna get value out of it. But
Right.
if you're not playing all 4 costs, like it's gonna feel bad if you're hitting a 2, and you're paying 3 and then tapping.
That's
So like that's just gonna feel bad.
So
Even for like a 3 or 2 or 1,
It-
that's just gonna feel bad to me.
Would you be saying it only functions in that kind of deck then? A deck that primarily plays or is all 4 costs?
Yeah, I think that would be the best way to get the value out of this card.
Though this does
4
cast summons
drop
as well.
Vanille, baby.
Yeah, like that deck.
You could, and again, it's a lot of setup because of just how the cards function. You could see more 4-drop summon on top and play it for free, quote unquote.
He's 2-drop. The 4-drop Seymour kills a 3-cost guy or less.
Well, I'm saying the Seymour that stacks though.
The 2-drop one, yeah.
Yeah, you could play that and then stack a 4-drop summon
But
and then
that's
just have that to
setup,
play.
Noah.
I know that's what I'm saying. It requires the setup.
But that's what
Hi.
makes it bad.
So you can pay this cost on at the end of your opponent's turn, right?
Yeah.
Yup.
You're allowed to just play the dude at the end of your opponent's turn.
Yup.
Yeah.
It says you may cast it without paying its cost this turn.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yup.
you can just like play the dude.
Hey, look at this free Kadaj.
So
That's pretty good.
I think we might have to wait like a ruling on this because as it reads like that, I think it might help you get around that.
Did I hear back attack is even cooler with this card? Sorry, I just really want.
No, back attack's a cool mechanic. It really
It's
is.
just not explored.
It isn't.
It needs to be explored, and I think cards that give pseudo back attack without the back attack keyword are super cool.
I think they're gonna release a ruling with it though, saying that like or they're gonna like translate it to say like you can only do it on your turn.
See, that would just make it even worse.
Yeah,
no,
I think
I would
the
have
card,
to agree.
Yeah.
Like, if that's the case, then it's unfortunately not worth it.
Yeah,
if
like
the card allows you to activate its effect on either turn, I think the card actually just got a lot better.
Yeah, I
Especially
agree.
as
Because
a
like it lets your forwards actually be able to attack on your turn,
yeah.
and like even if they have effects, right? Yeah.
Why
so, like,
have
if they have
haste
effects
when I
they're
can just
entering-
pay 4 and then restand the 4 later anyways?
Worst case, it's draft.
I mean, yeah.
No.
But like at that point, then it's only 4 draft.
Right. So, Tam, I sent you our most newest card that we got. I'm so excited for this card.
Man's about
Oh
to
my
rip into why he
gosh.
thinks
Wait, wait.
monks
Oh,
are
it feels
puss.
so
I know we
good.
kind of bounced around,
Yeah.
but we were talking about the boss fight deck.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Let's get back to that.
Yeah.
So back to boss fights because he found what he was looking for. We'll get to the new card after.
Yeah.
So boss fights. Said something about yeah. All right. So the decks entitle a display box of 6 units. A carton contains 2 display boxes. It's a breakdown of cards contain the set. It's a 67 boss fight specific cards, which is really good. 33 reprints from previous, but Jesus Christ, 33 reprints?
That's pretty big.
That's actually a lot more than I was thinking. 1 cards, I don't know why I say card, that are specified to the boss fight cannot be used in regular constructed format, which you said before.
Yep, gold borders.
All of the reprinted cards can be used in regular constructed format matches. You will not be able to play with this product in addition to the... You will not be able to play with this product.
So it's not a
In
standalone.
addition,
Yeah.
in addition to this product, you will need 3 or 2 50-card constructed decks to play. Then it says reprinted legendary cards, 3 cards each. So you get 3 Sephiroths, 3 Kujos, and 3 Veins.
Yep, of the Opus 2 vein.
Yeah,
I have to specify.
not the dumb one that you hate. That isn't that good.
But I think that's really cool.
Wait, you
that,
get 3 of that card.
Yeah, you get 3 full art sets.
That's why the price is tanking.
Yep. You
Because
get,
you
get
pay
a
the
play
price
set.
of you pay the price of 1 for a full play set.
Yeah, so I
Have
mean,
they released what this boss deck is actually going to cost yet?
I think the MSRP was already on. I think it was like $40.
40. That's super good value.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're getting 3 Sephiroths, because like Sephiroth is such like a
and
prevalent
Kuja's
card.
6. Like Kuja's
Yeah.
actually a $6 to $8 card, and I think he's really good.
So
Like,
that asks the
5.9K
question then
one.
too, like, are you gonna see Sephiroth a lot more now because the card is like just
Because he's
easily
super accessible now.
Yeah.
Absolutely, dude. I mean, even like the people I play with, like they're revisiting Ice because they know he's coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Like Mono Ice just got a lot more accessible now.
Does that mean people are going to be looking to do with this card too?
What, Seth?
Yeah, because like Seth does require a hefty cost, but usually when people play him, the smart way, they still have at least 2 to 3 cards in hand,
Right.
and their opponent has none. So like, the question is, do you think people are going to start playing around Seth so they hold more cards in hand so they play less on board, or are they going to start packing things like Amaterasu and also deal with the fact that like Seth just is going to be so easy to get now?
Well, the thing that comes with Seth also is that's what the player that's doing Ice, that's what they want from you, right?
Is to use your
Is
cards.
that they want you to sit there with like, okay, I'm on 3 to 5 cards. Either I immediately play it all out and I have nothing in my hand, right? Because if you time Seth right, even in like turn 2 or 3, you can justify a turn 2 Seth play. If your opponent put 2 backups down, they're on their last 2 cards. I'm holding on to these cards for dear life because that's what's actually going to get me ahead in this game. If you Seth me turn 2 in that very moment, you have an 8K on board that's going to dull freeze whatever guy I try to play in front to stop him, and I have no cards.
Yeah.
So Seth really rewards you for playing him at the right time.
For sure.
Like when you see your opponents on like 3 cards, 2 cards because they really played that 4-drop backup, cool, lose your hand. I have an 8K on board. Deuces.
God, could you imagine if he was a 9K? Ugh.
But yeah, I mean that's why
So
most
rough.
people played him with Duke Lark.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I really like this. My only concern is that because it's like the idea is it's being released for like a casual product, right?
Yeah.
But I definitely see where they're kind of like sneaking in like that, that higher play aspect of, hey, there's some expensive cards that are in here.
Buy it.
Yeah, go ahead and buy it, guys. And for those of you that want to like play it for its intended purpose, cool. If you're buying it to cannibalize to use like the Cephs and the Kujas and the Veins and stuff like that, you know what? That's okay too because the price that you're spending for this is the price you'd spend for 1 Ceph.
Yeah.
So,
I really want to get this just to play as the boss. Like I like asymmetrical like games in general that are like this. So like being able to play as the boss or like things like Dead by Daylight or the Friday the 13th game. Like it's always fun to play as that one
The bad
overpowered
guy.
dude and have a bunch of underpowered dudes try to fight you or deal with you feels really good. It's
is a
fun
lot
to
of
watch the struggle when you like put out something that they all have to try to work to deal with and they just mess
Right.
up doing it.
Right.
I think I'm definitely probably gonna buy one. There's no reason I
Yeah.
shouldn't, especially with the value you get out of it.
Or worst case scenario is you get 2, and you keep 1 for the format, and then you have 1 to take for cards.
Yup.
I think it's time.
All right, moving into our ad break. We'll be right back.
This episode of Study Hall is sponsored by InkedGaming.com. Are you looking to get a custom playmat? Well, then we suggest you check out InkedGaming.com. They have custom playmats, dice bags, mouse pads, and so much more. They even recently added a stitch option to their playmats and mouses as well. Inked Gaming lets you play your game with your style. And if you want 10% off your entire order, use the code TCG University, all caps, no spaces at checkout, to help support us by customizing your game to your style. Cards Custom Build. Are you into cosplay? Looking to get into cosplay? Do you want to show up to events dressed as your favorite character? Well, then Cards Custom Build can help. Cards Custom Build creates everything from cosplay accessories like props, trinkets, weaponry, all the way up to full-blown costumes. Do you want your costumes made from a perfectly flowing cloth or maybe a rigid battle armor? Well, Cards Custom Build has you covered. Their work is guaranteed to make you the talk of the con. So go over to Cards Custom Build either on Facebook or on their Etsy account. Links will be in the description down below. And make sure you mention that TCG University sent you their way and you'll get 5% off your entire order. Dex Protection is on a never-ending pursuit to create the highest quality storage and protection accessories. Their designs and innovation come from die-hard gamers and collectors just like you, so they know what you want in the products that you buy. They're constantly taking in feedback from their customers, and they have no plans of stopping their innovation or drive to refine the products until they are recognized as a leader in their industry. They make terrific products, all with the avid gamer and collector in mind. So go ahead, check them out. A link will be in the description down below.
Woo! All right, I hope you guys enjoyed that. I don't know what the ad was, but I'm pretty sure Tam's face was on it, so good enough.
Good man.
Continuing on, we have our spicy final reveal. Latest reveal, let's be fair.
I'm
Ooh.
so happy this card exists. It's so cool.
Take it away.
All
Oh,
right.
it's common.
Yeah, no, like, that's the
why.
first thing. No, like that's why I'm so excited for this card. This should have been a rare, dude. Like for real. All right. So what I'm excited about is I talked about monocommon monks earlier in the show. There's a new 3-drop monk that came out. That's in category 14, so she can already be picked up off of cards like Sid Garland.
Yup.
Her first line of text: insane. When monk enters play, pick up a monk from your break zone and put it in your hand. That's insane. Like, that is bananas, right? But it still has more text, right? And this is a common, right? So by paying an earth and putting it in your break zone, you choose a monk that you control. It fights another forward. Now, of course, you can only do it on your turn, but most of your fight effects are on your turn anyways.
Yep.
Right? And the most insane part, it doesn't say pick up a monk other than me. You can slow roll these. You have fight triggers for days.
Yeah.
Right? And even if you have all them used up, Sid Garland can pick one up and you just keep going. And it's a common.
I think that's why you like it the most is because it's a common for this monk.
I can use it.
So instead of you using the 2-drop that says pay 1, tap it.
Oh, you do both, dude.
I mean, yeah, you should, but like this one would probably just be the better option because this one says I can do 9 to your dude with Ursula and instead of being like Twin Fang, you could be like Twin Fang this dude. We're gonna 18k your 2 dudes.
Or you can double Twin Fang because it picks up Ursula's too.
Yes, it does.
So you can Twin Fang and then you pay 3 and you Twin Fang again, baby. That's 2 9k shots on the board.
It's a backup. Oh man, this card's actually
it's
really good.
so nuts, dude. Now, will it see play in any other deck other than that? No, it really won't.
Because it only functions for monks, but like, yeah, that card's pretty
I
solid.
mean, monks could become a thing now.
I mean, Fire Earth Monks has been played around with a little
Yeah.
bit because of the Legendary Ursula, but I don't care about Legendary Ursula. Legendary Ursula is too expensive for me.
Legendary
I like
Ursula doesn't pick this card up, so who
Yeah,
cares?
Legendary Ursula doesn't 9k something without setup.
Legendary Ursula, I mean, yeah, the only way you're getting her out for free is by yanging her, and that's at least 4 CP. Instead of just paying the 4 CP and playing 2 anyways that net you more value.
Hey, you just shoot it off anyway. Bananas.
I think the card's super cool. Obviously, it only is going to work in a Monk's deck, unfortunately. But we know who's going to be collecting all copies that they can get.
Gimme. And if they make a full art version of this, you better bet.
Better bet I'm going for it. You're just gonna see him racing, fighting people, dude. He's in a crowd of like what looks like 5-year-olds just punching down, trying to get the card. All right,
I'll trade you to Sephiroth.
bro, take myself.
Give me all your monks.
All right, moving on to what might be our last topic here. Currently, we have value versus tempo. So let's start off by stating what they are, breaking down into differences and stuff like that. All right, you want to kick this one off?
I saw a pretty cool article on it that they brought it up because a lot of new people, they tend to get the two like intermixed with each other. Mm-hmm. But they clearly broke it down between like the differences between the two. A tempo play would be something where you get lockout like turn 1, and then you haste lock and you make your opponent immediately discard a card, right? Or even like another high tempo play would be to play Marsh to get Reets and then activate your backups after Reets attacks. Like that is a very like high tempo play. You are clearly taking the steps to take the game in your favor, right?
Hey, my pen died. Can I get another one? I'm so sorry.
You're all right, bud. So, like a value play is where you take like your Star Sybil and you play your 6-drop guy for free off of that Star Sybil. I'm only using a backup to play my 6-drop, and my 6-drop does a thing like Nail that lets me reveal 3, and I get 2 forwards off of that. I got 2 forwards off of a backup. Nice.
Yeah.
Like that's a value play, and then that's like a very clear tempo play.
So while we were discussing this too, I kind of looked up an example. This is off Reddit, but I think it helps kind of explain. So like value plays, I'm blind. So value usually refers to making the most of each card that you play.
Yep.
You get the most out of the card. You do everything possible. Tempo refers to making the board lit as advantageous for you as possible.
I was almost in his hand.
Almost in my hand. Too bad it wasn't open. Haha. Making your board as advantageous as possible. So being able to like play. What makes Star Sybil cheap? Or Star Sybil makes other things cheap, does it?
So there's it's a Sem Levy. It's the 2-drop win backup that makes Star Sybil a 3-drop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that would be a value though, wouldn't it?
That's tempo.
No.
Because
Okay, good.
you're reducing the opportunity cost of playing Star Sybil from 5 to 3.
Yeah.
You're basically getting a free backup.
Yeah.
It's like you're accelerating your build turn.
Yeah.
Yep. So it's more building your puzzle like at a nice pace as opposed to, hey, this card does everything I wanted to do, but even cheaper.
So like using that puzzle analogy that you mentioned, like a tempo play like for that puzzle build is I'm going to put this corner of the puzzle together right away. And I'm going to make sure that I keep this corner. Where the value puzzle would be, I'm going to put this one piece in and it completes this entire puzzle, or it's going to connect all of these corners together.
Everything works.
Yeah.
Synergy. You got anything you want to add on that, my red sus looking friend? We're dating this.
No, I mean you guys pretty much explained like the differences between tempo and
Value.
There you go.
I
You looked
just
at me like
lost my train of thought there. So like, I think like one of the big examples for me for like value would be like Ifrita. Just like having the like tempo. Okay, so this card is kind of like goes into both because you want to
use an example that mixes one card.
Yeah, so like you want to tempo into making sure you have 5 Ifrits or Ifritas in your break zone, and then once you actually can play that Ifrita with all 3 effects, that's like the value of being able to off your tempo.
Yep. And the thing that the where it's generated from is that you start with those Ifrits, so you're already kind of getting that ball going, and then Ifrita is what actually keeps that ball rolling.
Yeah.
So I could see an argument for both sides of it, where like the tempo aspect of it is that I've already removed 2 or 3 of your guys with my other Ifrits, and then when you try to get that other guy to stop my dudes, then the other one keeps that going. So I can totally see that.
Yeah. So
You guess we gave examples there. I'll cross that off my list. So then why do you think it's important to either know the difference between the two or like just in general to know the concept for it? Do you think it actually helps you as you play the game, knowing what you're doing and knowing the difference between the two.
Absolutely. There is an age-old Magic the Gathering article called Who's the Beatdown? And the article kind of goes over, all right, so we have the 3 archetypes, right? Aggressive decks, control decks, mid-range decks, right? The very fundamental play of getting into high-end trading card games is you have to recognize who's the beatdown, as in who is going to be the more aggressive one here. So if it's like it's an aggressive matchup versus like another aggressive deck, they have to figure out, okay, what cards in my deck make it that I'm faster than my opponent? Or if my opponent's faster than me, as we are right now, how can I stop that?
Yep.
Or if it's like a control matchup between 2 decks, I have to be faster than you. Like, I actually have to pressure you to start using cards. And so tempo and value is what really make like the keystones for that article. Because if you're in, like, we're both playing slower decks, I have to push you. Or you're going to get it set up, and your value plays, like he was mentioning, like your Fritas, your Valifors, things like that, and you're removing 2 or 4 of my forwards off of 1 card, yeah, you're going to win.
So then, I like that you brought it up with the Frida, how you have to set up for tempo leads into value. We can, did you say that's a fair?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So tempo's your lead up. It's what builds up to your value play, which is what essentially gets you where you need to be.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. We got that all figured out and settled. I'm glad we got that explained, because this does matter for some people.
Absolutely.
And I feel like it is important that some people understand how this all plays out. So I think we got enough. We could break in to the party attacks.
Oh gosh, like it's so cool that Opus 12 is exploring this as a mechanic, because a lot of times I've seen it is people forget it's a mechanic.
Yeah. Party
Yeah.
attacks. So let's say what party attacks are. I don't know. I was like hesitating. Maybe I was waiting for Tam to type
What
it
is
all
it?
out.
No?
I don't know. Party attacks. So you take 2 dudes, put them together, swing. No. Let me try and explain this without using the official words for it. So party attacks allow you to take 2 guys of the same element, 2 forwards of the same element that are both able to attack on that turn, and combine their power together and swing with them as one main unit. So you can take 2 5K dudes and swing it with them as a 10K guy. Some cards give you benefits for party attacking, like certain chocobos will give 3K power to that party and stuff like that.
There's knights that do it that say, hey, none of us can be damaged. There's a white mage that says anyone in a party with me takes 3K less. Like you mentioned, chocobos say can't be blocked, gain damage boosts. All sorts of cool stuff.
I think party attack is a real cool mechanic. I'm glad that it's being explored a bit more, especially with the new Noctis that was shown, and with like Bobby Corwin and
Bobby Corwin
and Bart's plays 1-drops. So Bart's
when you party attack, deploy 1-drops. And then the new Yuna, she lets you make a guy lose 4K for every party member that you have.
Yeah. So.
Well,
you can party multiple people.
Yeah,
that's correct.
So
it's not just 2.
When they released the first spoiler card, Yuna, she has a line of text that says when she party attacks, the forward loses 4K for every member in that party. So if you party attack with 2 people, you can make something lose 8K.
Let's see if we can find her in here.
You want me to send her to you, Tam? There she is.
There she is.
Yep. Yeah, no, dude. She's like
Jesus,
first
why
card
is
of the
this
release.
so
So yeah.
long?
Oh yeah. By the way, if a forward that you controlled entered into a party when she came in, you draw 2 cards. And so her other line of text says
3, draw 2.
when she forms a party and attacks, they lose 4K for each attacking forward, and she can make herself any element. So she guarantees a party.
Oh yeah, she's pay 0 make herself an element.
Yep.
So yeah, that's actually really good.
Yeah. So you can make something lose 8K while you're attacking with 2 guys.
I forgot about the unit for a bit, and then you reminded me earlier today.
Yep.
And like this card is probably the one card you want to play in a deck that wants to focus with party attacks.
So
that's really sweet.
Yep,
Actually.
she really fixes the problems that come up with party attack, which is why would I want a 2-for-1 myself to deal you 1 point of damage? Or in a lot of instances, why am I going to attack with 2 guys for you to block one of them, and then your guy blows out both of my guys?
So she also, by default, when she parties with something, hits another card for 8.
Yeah.
Which means you either force your opponent to deal with that party attack and not take the damage, or they lose the 1 forward they wanted to save.
Or you party 3 dudes and you 12K a guy.
Yeah, anything big, you just party 3. You literally with that card, smaller like shit eater decks that just play little shitters and go at it, like Chocobos for instance, actually have a way better chance of climbing up now than ever to deal with the bigger guys.
And I think the other struggle with party attacks also is that people have done it to get over like Thanos and stuff like that.
Party, I want a party hardy. Can that be the theme, please?
Because the struggle that comes with like party attacking is I already mentioned like the 2-for-1 thing.
Yep.
And we're also trying to get over things like Braska and Thanos. And if you try to Una Braska, I mean, you're going to lose a dude out of it. And then it's no longer a party. And then it's going to be really sad.
So
what are your guys' thoughts?
I don't do this enough, but it is a smart idea. If you have enough guys on board to spend on a party attack, if you need to climb over like that big blocker, I don't think you shouldn't do it.
Right.
I think it's something you should. I think party attacking isn't something you just do. It's something you have to do to get over that hump. But like with the way this new set looks, you're probably able to just party attack because it just nets more value. Besides getting over like a big, like your opponent could just have a wide board and you could still party attack to, hey, plus 2K to all my dudes.
That's like the best part about it, because like this set coming out is just gonna entice people to want to party attack and try to build decks that kind of go with that theme, which is really nice because like, you know, party attacking, it's like it's a known thing that you can do, but not a lot of
nobody
people
really does it. Like the decks that do it the most are, for instance, Chocobos. That's probably one of the most well-known decks that party attacks. Yeah, that's why they play hasters that power boost themselves for partying. And they usually net value off of their parties.
Because the thing I'm seeing from Opus 12, like with the Amaterasu and these party attack mechanics, it's reminding me of like Opus 3 and 4. And like some of those older opuses where the game was like, hey, I am going to put dudes together to try to get over your 9K guy.
Yeah. And
some pro tips that I've learned from playing Common Earth with my monks is that something cool you can do is that you attack with your guys, right? And then your opponent blocks and they put all that damage on one of your party guys. If you buff it, not only do you keep both your forwards, but you've also killed their guy.
Yep.
So with situations with like Una and stuff like that, when people are like, okay, cool, I'm going to block and do all the damage to Una, you can play Siren and make her an 11K, and you don't have to worry about losing her. And then they have to play the rest of that game around, all right, you have power buffs. If I block your party, you're going to torso twist that damage, and it's not going to matter.
Yep.
So you like kind of train your opponent to try and split their damage out, and that's what you want. And that's
when they do that, it usually isn't going to kill your guys anyways.
And you have 16K worth of power. So it's really sweet doing that.
I guess the biggest drawback on it is you're down 2 dudes. So if your opponent is able to like get rid of them because they're dull or play forwards or any type of ability that's able to deal with the 2 guys you have rested.
Haste sucks after
dulled.
party attack.
Yeah, that's the biggest issue. Haste is a thing. You party attacked, you lost 2 blockers. I'll just haste swing you.
Oh.
It's a gamble.
You get sucker punched out of it.
So you have to be able to evaluate how your opponent's playing and be able to deal with it. I think that's why, like, one of the things Travis did when he played Chocobos, I hate looping back to this, but it's such a like solid deck to go off of, is you probably just put 2 dudes together, swing, and leave everybody else up.
Yeah.
You only ever need the one swing to go. Either they take it or they don't, and they lose something. And Chocobos are so easy to put out that you just build more anyways.
I just like that this party attack thing also is going to promote cards like Leviathan that give all of your water forwards 2K, or cards like Siren that give your guy 4K. And we're going to go back to kind of that old like power buffing era. Instead of like getting like elusive with it, you're just going to brute force through it.
Yep. I think it'd be really cool, actually.
It's going to be fun to explore for sure.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we've gone through like how you want to utilize it and stuff, but like just in general, I think that... Man, they're really doing good on bringing back older mechanics with this set, or at least an old mechanic with this set that like nobody really uses, and putting it into a spotlight where people can actually think about using it now.
Absolutely.
I really think that this whole set is definitely like diverse. It's going to diversify the meta again, which is really nice because I don't want
11 really didn't happen.
Yeah, and like I mean with the whole COVID thing, obviously it,
We never
it
had the
felt,
chance to go to like actual events
Yeah.
and figure out what sticks, what doesn't.
Yeah, and it felt like the meta was kind of stale a little bit too. I think.
Roskas and Marsh.
Yeah. So and
And
I
Kadaj.
obviously yeah.
And Gadaj.
And then obviously all the Rampire decks, like that's still a really strong deck. Like it just kind of felt almost a little bit stale.
Mhm.
So like this is definitely gonna like bring out some of the older cards, I think too. So it's gonna be nice to just kind of explore that whole thing.
All right.
I'm glad.
Post
Think we
show?
wrapped that all up, guys.
Yeah, that looks
Think
nice.
we're gonna hit our post show. We'd just like to thank everybody for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. Those of you who are a Patreon supporter, you can go ahead and stay tuned. We're gonna hit our post show here soon. Thanks for watching, guys.
Later, homies.
I don't have a cool catchphrase
See ya.
like Tam does. No, I don't want to.
It's gonna cost you $5.